The biggest Minecraft Facebook group is encouraging kids to steal, and that's not okay. Let's talk about this. Let me just say that I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt, but they exceeded my expectations, and boy am I glad that happened because they gave me a lot of juicy content to work with. So this biggest Minecraft Facebook group is called Minecraft Community. It's on Facebook and it's got over 300,000 users in it. Recently, there's been an incident where someone in the group allegedly stole something, and the moderators chose not only to ignore it, but to actively give condescending remarks to the people reporting it without any sort of investigation whatsoever. So let me set the stage for you so you can really understand where I'm coming from. I want you to watch this super short montage that I prepared and pay close attention. Tell me what the commonality is between everything that I show in this montage. That edit was so hip, I gotta put on my hipster glasses, dog. Right, so what's the commonality between everything that I showed there? I showed things like visual art, photos, drawings, paintings, digital or classical, 3D renders, animations, Eastern or Western, comics, manga, 3D animations, sculptures, visual effects, movies. These are all visual art, things that you can look at. I also showed you interactive arts, namely various types of games. What else did I show you? Well, arts that require labor, cooking, blacksmithing, martial arts, archery. And of course, accompanying this montage was audio, music, created by an artist. The common thing between everything that I showed you was that everything there was art. If I took, say, this painting, this animation, this game, this art created within a game, this movie, and this dish, and I say that I made all of those, is it not bright as day that I am stealing the work of another artist and claiming them as my own? Can we all agree that if I were to do this, that I would be wrong? So why then, when someone posts their 3D renders of Minecraft blocks created not in Minecraft, but in Blender, professional 3D software used by animation studios and game development studios all over the world, software that when you spend years learning how to use and get good at, could land you an actual, steady, good paying job? Yeah, that type of software. Why is it that when someone posts art like this, and someone else in the comments points out, hey, I saw this exact same post on Reddit the other day, just put yourself in the shoes of a moderator, knowing full well that this is the biggest Minecraft group in all of Facebook filled with kids around the age of 13. What would you do in this situation? Do you, A, take a look at this claim and respond with something like, hey, can you send me the original Reddit post? And then try to prove that either the original poster is or is not the same person on Reddit by, say, asking the person on Reddit, asking the person on Facebook, taking a look at their Facebook profile and checking if their username matches with their Reddit username. Or even better, just ask the person on Facebook to prove that they did make the thing. Like show a screenshot of the project file or something. Just do something so you can prove whether this guy did or did not steal. Or do you do B, ignore the post because you got so much going on in your life you don't have time to spend on these things? Or get a load of this, do you do C, would you comment on the post saying how much it does not matter that someone has stolen something and do zero investigation? Well, I'm making this video, so guess what the moderators chose? This guy called Carl goes, admin, I've seen this in Reddit, this might be a case of plagiarism. Dan, the moderator, comes in and says, it literally couldn't matter less. I see this and I jump in just to confirm, right? I go, whoa, hold on a second, Dan. Are you saying that people in this group can steal other people's content and claim it as their own and it does not matter? Dan, the moderator, swoops in, he goes, Julian, correct. Not in the least because it does not matter. Like, at all. Okay, so before I talk about why this does matter, let me show you the chats I've had with the other moderators, because maybe, just maybe, Dan the moderator over here, this was just his personal opinion. It doesn't reflect all the other moderators, does it? So I reached out to 3 other moderators, including the owner of the group. So here's the chat I had with Carol, the moderator who literally wrote the rules for this group. Hey Carol, I'm one of the members of the Minecraft community Facebook group. May I ask if it's okay to steal in this Facebook group, as in take someone else's content and claim it as your own without giving credit? Carol responds with, if it's not copyrighted, then anyone can use it. Sad for the people who feel the need to pretend they did something that they didn't. Just a shame they feel so inadequate that they can only get happiness from that. I say yes, but we're talking about stealing here, not just using. One of the moderators said that it's not a problem. I think there's something wrong with the principle there, don't you think? Like, if you painted a beautiful picture that you spent a lot of time and effort on, then posted it on Reddit to share with the world, and I come along, take it, and re-upload it somewhere else claiming it is my work, wouldn't you agree that there's something wrong here? Carol responds with, how do we even start policing it? We can ask that they give credit to the person who did it originally, but we can't prove that they did or force them to credit anyone. What do you expect us to do? And even then, it's only if they claim it to be theirs. So I offer a solution. Well, I think that's pretty simple. If someone in the comments is able to point out and prove that something is stolen, that should be that. I understand how hard it is to catch every single person trying to steal, but to say that this is not a problem and to be dismissive of it is quite bad in principle. That's really what I wanted to talk to you about today. And I show her the screenshot of the conversation between Carl, Dan, and myself. And now it starts to get a little bit weird, right? She goes, well, if you ran a group of this size and saw how many people there are, you would also dismiss this, I'm sure. We have much more important things to do than to keep checking if someone's lying. However, if someone messages us with proof, we act. Is that good enough for you? And no, it doesn't really matter unless they are claiming they made it and someone else comes along saying that they made it instead. It's just a damn pic. So I wasn't really sure how to react to that. It blows my mind that someone could have such a skewed moral compass. So I actually had to take a minute before I responded with, sure, I'd make sure the other moderators know about this too. It really is a shame to see that the moderators of this group are allowing thieving. And the context of the screenshot I sent you is exactly that. The person who posted onto the group also posted on Reddit. Someone pointed out that the post was on Reddit and that the person who posted it on the group could have stolen it from Facebook. The response of the moderator was to be dismissive, not to investigate. If you don't see a problem with people stealing content unless they're caught red-handed, I really think there's something fundamentally wrong with your way of thinking. Now, it's different if you can clearly say that stealing is wrong and that's a problem, but it sounds a lot more like you're saying, as long as nobody gets caught, you can steal as much as you want. Furthermore, considering that the group is, I would imagine, filled with people around the age of 13, easily influenced, I can't imagine that having this mindset would be a good role model for anybody here. I'm gonna break off for just 1 second to clear up a misunderstanding that's about to happen between me and Carol. So this is the original post, right? This guy called Van, he posted his 3D renders of these Minecraft blocks that he made in Blender. In the comments of this post is where Carl pointed out that he saw this on Reddit and this might be a case of plagiarism. Carl did not make any of these blocks. He does not claim that he made this on Reddit. He's just pointing out that he saw this on Reddit. So now it goes back to Van to prove that he did make it. And in the next post that he made, he did actually prove that he made it because he showed his work in Blender. So Van did create these blocks and he probably did post it onto Reddit as well. So in reality, he didn't steal anything, but that's besides the point. We're here to talk about the moderator's mindset if he did steal something. Whether or not he did or not does not change the mindset of the moderators. So let's go back to talking about that. So thus begins a little bit of a misunderstanding between me and Carol. I'm talking about the original poster, Van. Carol is talking about Carl, the person who commented. Carol goes, the person who said it was on Reddit, it wasn't his build, was it? So I misunderstood this. I thought she was talking about Van, right? So I go, yes, it was. Again, the point is not the individual post. Now Carol decides to go for the personal attack. She goes, and I wonder why you've not got better things to do with your time. Man, I wonder, as an artist, why do I not have better things to do with my time than to protect the integrity of other artists so people stop stealing? Man, justice? What even is that? What a waste of time. Anyway, I'll respond by saying it's the principle behind you and the other moderators' line of thinking. The as long as nobody gets caught, you can steal as much as you want mindset is not very healthy for the younger generation, in my opinion. I also let her know that I don't appreciate the personal attack. Let's keep this discussion on track. Carol continues talking about Carl, so the misunderstanding continues here. She goes, and also he says he has seen it on Reddit, not that it was his. She also adds, listen, when you become a moderator, you get to say what happens. Until then, no. The next few lines is just a miscommunication between Carl and Van again. But miscommunications aside, I'm emphasizing once again, it's not about the individual post, it's about the principle of the way you guys are thinking. There is no problem with the post in question. It just showed what you guys think like, and that's what I'd like to talk about. Carol says, we have a rule that unless someone says that they made it and someone can prove that they didn't, we leave it alone. I rephrase what she says as, so in other words, as long as nobody gets caught, you can steal as much as you want. She does not give a yes or no answer. She just deflects the question and goes, if you have a problem and want to discuss it with the group owner, go for it. His name is Brendan, see what he says. So as you can see, it's not just the one moderator, it's also the moderator who literally wrote the rules. And look, maybe it came off like I was a bit too confrontational. Maybe it looked like I was trying to paint them in a negative light intentionally. If you look at my first message, maybe that's the vibe that she got just from reading that. Or maybe she was just having a bad day, who knows? But even with all those things considered, I think that as an adult, in which we both are, going as far as to throw a personal attack that I would say is completely unwarranted, and then repeatedly saying that their word is law and there's nothing that I can do about it, hey, if you ask me, I think this paints a pretty bad picture for the moderators at the head of this group. I think it makes them look like people who aren't interested in making the group better as a whole, but are more interested in enforcing themselves as the authority. And anybody who questions this authority is automatically the bad guy, even if they're trying to help keep the group clean. And this isn't me trying to throw a personal attack back, by the way. This is just what our particular conversation paints the picture to look like. Hey, look, maybe they're great people. Maybe they go feed the homeless every Sunday night. But that doesn't change what this conversation shows. So you may be wondering what the owner of the group has to say. Let's take a look. Hey Brendan, I'm one of the members of the Minecraft community Facebook group. May I ask if it's okay to steal in this Facebook group, as in take someone else's content and claim it as your own without giving credit? Alright, moving on. Fortunately though, not all is lost. One other moderator did respond to me and he said something different. Let's take a look. This moderator's name is A-Man and I sent him the same message. He responds with, no, it is not allowed. If your content got stolen, please report it to one of the staff and we will take care of it. In my mind, I go, finally! Someone who actually cares about the integrity of art. So I quickly respond with, it turns out the content wasn't actually stolen, but the other moderators seem to disagree. What I meant here is disagree with your line of thinking. I've spoken with Carol as well, and she basically said, as long as nobody gets caught, you can steal as much as you want. I bring this to your attention because I don't think having this mentality is very healthy for a Minecraft group filled with young kids. I'd appreciate it if you could talk to the other moderators about this. A man responds with, the mods are arguing about that still, but I do not agree with that. I will talk to them, thanks for the report. Okay, so that's great. We do have a moderator here who cares about integrity. But let me put it this way, right? Like, here's the situation. You've got two moderators, one of whom who literally wrote the rules. These two are interested in establishing their authority, does not care about integrity, and actively shuns people who try to do the right thing. You have these two moderators up at the top. Then you have all the other moderators who don't really try to establish anything, but they're just a moderator trying to keep the group clean. And you have the owner who's gone MIA somewhere. What do you think is going to happen in this situation? Like, really? Like, if these moderators on the top are so close-minded that they would have to get defensive over somebody trying to challenge their authority just a slight bit, even if they're trying to help the group out, that they would go as far as to throw personal attacks, I can't imagine the internal argument between the moderators going anywhere. Like, not that I know what's going on behind the scenes, and I'm not a moderator and I'm not interested in becoming a moderator. But like, just take all things into consideration and think about that for a second. Do you really think that's gonna go anywhere? And listen, I'm showing you that conversation between A-Man because it's a conversation that happened. I'm not gonna try to obscure A-Man's conversation from you just to paint the picture of this group being all bad just to fit my narrative. In fact, let me even try to cut the group some slack, right? If you have a Facebook group with over 300,000 people in it, and it's a Minecraft group, hey, there's gonna be a lot of kids in there, right? And you know what other type of people you're gonna find in there? Yeah, people who should not be in there. If we look through all the moderators' posts, we can find this post made by one of the moderators called Aiden. he actually took the initiative to ban sending out DMs to random people in the community. Now, granted, it's just a rule and there's nothing stopping someone from just DMing random people in the group, but because it is a rule and people in the group are expected to know the rules, I mean, they've done what they can to try to prevent it, right? It's a Facebook group. There's only, you got limited options in what you can do. Point is, they've identified an issue and they've tried to do something to stop it. But that does not change what's happening here. Fundamentally, we have two moderators saying that it's okay to steal as long as you don't get caught, and you only get in trouble if the original creator calls you out directly. Oh, and by the way, at the same time saying that if you pirate the game, you are a criminal and you can get banned, and that they're lucky that the original creators, Mojang, aren't coming after them. Okay, so let's wind back a little bit and take a look at the original response. Dan says it literally could not matter less. Let's talk about why it does matter. First, I think we have to try to understand where Dan is coming from. Why does Dan say that it does not matter? Well, the only reason I can think of why this wouldn't matter is because nobody suffers any monetary loss. So I think what this shows is that the moral compass of this particular moderator is slightly skewed. As in his mind, the act of stealing in and of itself is not wrong, but hurting someone through the act of stealing is wrong. And of course, to him, being emotionally hurt doesn't count. However, in my opinion, the act of stealing is always wrong whether somebody gets hurt or not, and emotional pain is pain. Imagine yourself as an artist. You make sculptures for a hobby. You don't sell them, you don't make money from them, you just enjoy making them. And let's say that the clay and the tools required to make these sculptures, you somehow just have them and you never have to pay for them. Like, let's just say that in a hypothetical situation. If someone walked into your house in the middle of the night because you left the door unlocked accidentally, they do no damage to any of your property, but they steal all your sculptures and leaves with them, then shows them off to their friends saying how they made it. Wouldn't that be wrong and very discouraging to you, the artist? Or what about your new dish? Some sort of like meatball noodle thing or whatever with your own unique spin. You post your recipe on Reddit or something because you want to share this with the world. Then someone comes over, steals your exact same recipe, claims it as their own, and reposts it. Oh yeah, if you're an outsider, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you got the recipe. And so you just leave it as that? How cold of a person do you have to be to ignore that the original creator of an art piece is affected by this, and that the original creator is hurt? Oh, and just keep in mind that when I say that, in my opinion, stealing is always wrong, that does not mean it cannot be justified. So don't try to pull some Apollo Legend move on me and say that, oh, you created something in Minecraft? Well, that doesn't belong to you, it belongs to Mojang. That's like saying that every video of every game ever made does not belong to the person who created the video, but instead belongs to the person who created the game. If this were the case, the incentive to create videos online for entertainment, art, would be greatly decreased as nobody would be able to earn any sort of income through ads. Like, take a look at what Dan says here. So in this post, he's banning people who pirate the game. In this post, he calls out dishonest and disrespectful members, the pirates, that think that it's okay to steal something that's not food or medicine. So Dan, what changed? Why go from food or medicine to food or medicine or art? Why is stealing art all of a sudden okay? Dan, you gotta let us know. Why the change? Look, at the end of the day, I'm an artist and art matters to me. I want to show the world the impact that my art will have, and I want to encourage other artists to develop their art. I don't want to discourage people from creating art, especially if they're young and impressionable. What I take an issue with here is that the moderators of this group are setting an example that stealing is okay as long as you don't get caught. And that is not okay. Hey, I need to ask you to do something for me. If you also think that stealing art is not acceptable, then I ask of you to please play your part and share the video, or give this video a thumbs up so it shows up in more people's recommended. Please raise attention to this issue so we don't have to breed 300,000 art thieving children. Thanks.